Hey there, it's November 7th, day 7 of NaNoWriMo. Sherry Gorman coming to you from basement of Colorado. So yesterday I talked a lot about traditional publishing, something which I'm about to venture towards, but definitely not an expert in. And then today I had to break it up into two topics, so I'd like to talk about self-publishing, which is how I published my first book, It's Nothing Personal. Self-publishing overall I found relatively easy. I think the challenging part is that you need to get the pieces in place before you actually pull the plug and you're ready to self-publish. And so that means that you need to find an editor, and that can either be somebody professional that you locate through an internet search or through recommendations, or maybe members of your book club or members of your family. The more eyes you can have upon your book before you send it out, the better. I'll tell you, I had my book professionally edited by two people, edited by my stepdaughter and by a couple of friends, and went ahead and published it, and my stepmother found at least 15 grammatical errors, or not grammatical errors, but typos. So, you really, I can't stress enough, get eyes on your product before it goes out, because nothing detracts from anything that you write like a typo. The other thing that you need to have in place is a cover. So either you need to design it yourself. There are design services on the internet that you can do a Google search for, or hook up with somebody with some artistic skills, particularly somebody who's good in Photoshop. That's how I was able to get my cover done, was that I hooked up with a man by the name of Ryan Jarvis. He's a local talent here, really kind of an up-and-coming talent. I imagine in 10 years I wouldn't be able to afford him, but I was one of his first projects, and he just had an incredible eye for what works, what doesn't work, color schemes, how the reader or the public, their eyes are going to focus down into things onto the cover, and how to organize that so that it all filtered down to my title and then filtered back out to my name. Sorry about the hands there. But my cover is one of the things that I am probably the most proud of. I think I worked on it a lot with him. He's obviously the artistic talent behind it, but I think that it truly is a phenomenal cover. I actually won an award for it. So those are probably the main things that you need to have in place before you get ready to self-publish. Then when it's time, CreateSpace is what I use. That's the Amazon service, but there's a couple more out there. There's Lulu. I think there's a service called Smashwords. I can't remember if that's the exact name. I think Lulu and Smashwords charge a small amount. The advantage to Lulu is that it's not monopolized by Amazon, so you can get your book through Lulu out to more venues, including Barnes & Noble and the Apple site as well. CreateSpace goes directly to Amazon, and generally they don't tell you that you have to sign up exclusively with Amazon, but once you get into it, you realize that it makes the most sense to do that, and then that limits you a little bit from any potential customers on the other sites. CreateSpace, it was free to actually publish the book. I found that it was not as easy as I'd hoped for. When you format it, you have to decide what size of book that you want, and then it does some funky things with your PDF file, and sometimes words get transcribed over, or not transcribed, but moved over to another page. Your justification may get off. You basically, what I found, had to go through every page, page by page, and basically just tediously fix every page break that was off and realign paragraphs, and it took a long time, and as soon as I thought it was done, I'd go back through and find out it was messed up again halfway, and basically have to pick up where I left off and go through the whole exercise again. And it's mindless, it's boring, it's tedious, but you get through it, and eventually you have your product. Once you go ahead and hit the publish button, it takes about, it was really fast at first, but then I think more people started to do it and it slowed down. Typically, I think it was 1 to 3 days turnaround, typically around 1, that they'd have a proof ready for you to look at. You could look at a proof online But what I did, especially with the soft copy, the paperback that you can do print on demand through CreateSpace, I had they'll send you a proof copy for a nominal price. I think it was like less than $5 sent to your house, and then you can go through the actual this is how it's going to look type thing and make sure that everything is as it should be. And believe me, I caught mistakes there that I didn't catch looking at the file online. So it is a little bit of a tedious process, but if you're organized and you're diligent, within a week you can have all those little kinks worked out and you're ready to go. Once you do publish onto the Amazon site, they have a thing called KDP Select, and that's where Amazon kind of gets you locked into their program. It is a 90-day dedication. You can opt out at any time, but what it does is if you say I'm only going to go through Amazon for 90 days, they, I think they give you better price structuring, better compensation. It's been so long since I've looked at it, I'm not absolutely certain about that. But I think one of the big advantages was that they tend to rank you higher in their ranking lists if you're part of KDP Select, which helps when people are perusing through and seeing how your book stacks up against others. And then I think another thing that is really beneficial to some people is that every 90-day period you get 5 free promotions. So you can 5 times for, I think, as long as you want, but maybe the limit is only 5 days, but still that's plenty long, believe me. You can put your book out there for free. And what that does is a lot of people just download free books right and left, and so it will first of all put you high, hopefully, in the rankings for free books, which will hopefully transcribe over into purchased books once the promotion ends. It gets your name out there. And so it's a good way as an unknown author to kind of use as a launching pad. The disadvantage to giving away all those books for free is that, first of all, you worked hard on it, and the first time it killed me to give my work away for free. I'd worked so hard, and then to think of just tossing it out there like throwing candy out at a sporting event or something like that, it really, really was hard to do. The other thing is, like I said, people just download free stuff. You know, people can't walk away from a give me. And so what you get are a lot of people downloading your book that probably wouldn't have taken an interest in it otherwise, which is sometimes good because sometimes people are open-minded and it opens them up to a new genre that they might not have thought about or have considered because it's not in their realm of comfort. But a lot of people will read it and say that they're a young adult type person. Those are the books they like. And then, for instance, my book was more of a medical mystery, and they read that and they don't like it because it's not in their genre. It's not really because they didn't like the book, but it's not in their genre. And then you invite reviews that are going to stick with you forever on Amazon that are based more on whether or not they happen to like your particular genre compared to their comfort level, rather than whether or not it was a good book. Let's see. So then, just going into the advantages and disadvantages of self-publishing, I think the big advantage is that it is quick, it is easy. You do retain a much higher percentage of your profits. You can change your book at any time, so you can go back in and edit something and republish it, and anybody who buys it from that point forward will get the edited copy. Let's see. Those are... Oh, and then I think the other big thing that I alluded to, sorry, I forgot, yesterday was just that, you don't have to solicit an agent and hope for a publisher and go through all that anxiety and the wait of up to 2 years before you're actually out there. The disadvantage is that it's so easy, it's become almost too easy, and everyone's doing it. And it's not meant to be critical, but I would say most of the people doing it aren't very good authors. And so here's your book floating in the same sea as a bunch of books that aren't very good. And you're an unknown, and what's going to separate you from everybody else? Well, therein lies the problem. It's hard to gain the recognition that sets you apart and makes people want to buy your book compared to the next guy whose book is the same price and maybe has a snazzier cover or something like that. So, I think that publicity angle and trying to get the recognition is very, very difficult with self-publishing. I would say, the other things I talked about with traditional publishing, the advantages of, I'd say are all the detractors of self-publishing. You don't have a publishing house behind you. It's hard to get the big name people to review you. You're basically on your own. Some people make it, but it's not very common. Independent authors, I think that the conception is changing, but I think there's still a bias that it's for the people who, and these are not my words, these are words that I read, and they are cool words, but it's for people that really couldn't have hacked it in the real world of publishing. And those are biases that are hard to overcome. So there, in a nutshell, that's kind of my take on self-publishing. I'm not down on it. I think it worked well for my first attempt at writing, but for the reasons I talked about yesterday, I'm taking a different route with my next 2 books. I wish you best of luck, whichever route you choose. There's so much information out there that support one versus the other, and there's a lot of really fair articles out there that tell you one side versus the other. So hopefully with this as a launching pad, you can do your own research and figure out what direction you'd like to go. So anyway, I always promise to bring a little bit of Hawaii. I've got my puka shell necklace. This is ultra cool. It was from my favorite surf shop, Honolulu Surf Company. Just love that store. Bar none. It's no ka'ai. It's the best. I've got actually my Honolulu Surf Company t-shirt with a bunch of beautiful hibiscus, I guess would be the plural, running down each sleeve. And I went and got my nails done, and let me see if I can show you. Okay, this is gross because you have to see my feet, but they're pretty because I have them pedicured. Let me see if I can get my foot down. This is not working out very well. Well, anyway, okay, that was something that I won't repeat again on YouTube. It was an experiment that went awry, but I do have a beautiful hibiscus drawn on the big toe of both my legs, or both my feet. So anyway, that's kind of cool too. So anyway, there's your Hawaii. There's your take on self-publishing, and shoot me another comment. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about next, or else I'll come up with something on my own. Let's see. Again, aloha, mahalo, how's it hanging, brah, and have a good day. Bye.